Hi friends, it's Hannah, and today I'm making a large gingerbread house out of a Fisher Price Little People dollhouse. And there is two parts to this house. It comes together into one piece and opens up, and I separated it and made two pieces into it. And this is actually going to be a gingerbread village, but since today is National Gingerbread Day, I wanted to show you how I made one of the houses. The first thing that I did is I separated the houses, and then I took them outside and I gave them 2 coats of spray paint, 2 light coats, and I let the spray paint dry in between coats, and I did paint the inside and the outside of both sides of the house. And the paint that I used is Rust-Oleum 2 times ultra coverage. It's paint and primer in one, and it molds to plastic, and the color is satin nutmeg. And I thought that was the perfect color for a gingerbread house. And then I outlined the windows. I used white glass paint, and I did all 3 of the windows, and then I went around all of the shingles on the roof, and I just used some thick acrylic white paint, and I was not really careful about getting it perfect because snow doesn't fall perfectly, and I just wanted to have thick pieces of white paint in the crevices of all of the tiles on top of the roof. And then on the sides, I added more snow with my acrylic paint as though it was coming down the side and more adhering to some parts than other. And then I did the same thing on the eaves all the way around the house as I added more snow to the top, more paint to the top, and then I kind of drizzled it down, kind of how snow would look, where it didn't adhere to everything in the house but to most of the house. And the next thing that I did is I used sap green paint by Folk Art, and there is a vine that is imprinted onto the front of this dollhouse. And I took the dark green paint and I painted each of the leaves. I tried to make them look like holly berry leaves, and then I went in with red paint and I just painted a dot of red paint inside of each of the leaves so that it would look like a holly berry bush. And I'm sorry, my dog is really barking. I hope it's not bothering you too much. I painted the red flowers like poinsettias, and then I used the green paint and painted all the bushes all around the outside of the exterior of the house. And once I was finished with the green paint, I painted white around the door and on the steps. And then I used red paint and I painted the front door, that's double doors. I painted them with the red paint on the inside and on the outside of the doors. Then there is a little birdhouse, and I painted that with brown paint, and I painted the pot with the flowers in brown, and there's a little bench, and I also painted that brown. And then there was a small watering can, and I painted that with leaf green paint by Delta and outlined it in black. And then the next thing that I did is I painted the outside of the balcony on the side of the house in red paint, and then I added white paint to the eaves like snow was coming down in thick pieces, and then I also outlined the balcony with the white paint. The next thing that I did is I laid it down on its side, and I bought some Santa snow in a can from Walmart, and I sprayed the roof heavily, and then I lightly sprayed around the rest of the house. I love the way that this looks. I took a small dry paintbrush and I brushed just a little bit of the snow off of the ivy leaves, and I bought this little bag of miniature goodies at the thrift store for $2.49, and I didn't know why I was buying them when I did. I just had to have them, and they came in perfectly for this. I put 2 wreaths on the door. I used miniature candy canes and put one underneath each window and one underneath the eaves near the top of the house. And then I got red and green M&Ms, Christmas M&Ms. They come in red and green. And I lined the top of the step with red and green M&Ms, and when I was finished lining them, I also placed them sideways on the step so that everything was completely covered in red and green M&Ms on top of the bushes. And then I put these little holly berries with holly leaves with berries that I bought at the grocery store in a little decorator kit, and I added those, and then I put the puppy outside of the house. He was so cute. I glued him to the side of the house, and I added round peppermint candy all around the bottom where the bushes were. I thought that just looked so much cuter. And then I added these bows from the Dollar Tree, 2 to each window and 1 to one of the hearts. And then I used Dots candy, and I used about 2.5 boxes, and I separated all of the red dots, and I hot glued a dot into each shingle on the entire roof until the entire roof was covered in dots. And then I put a teddy bear and a small Christmas tree on the balcony, and I took the little boy, and he was missing an arm, but he is so precious. He even has hair and fuzzy red slippers, and I glued him onto the puppy so that it looks like he has his arm around the back of the puppy. And I added a little bit of red paint to his fuzzy red slippers, and then I used the paint just to brighten up his pajamas. I added more paint to the buttons and around his collar and around his sleeves and around his waistline, and he just looks so adorable. I'm so happy that I bought these little miniature pieces. They fit perfectly on the gingerbread house. And with that, this project is complete. I so enjoyed making this gingerbread house for you, and I'm going to post the rest of it when I make a complete village. I hope this inspires you to make something beautiful, and I will see you next time.